moment, which is okay. But let's go across. Luckily there are a few of us out here. Let's go and see if Jamie's had any luck.
Byron, what's wrong with us? Byron, why aren't we able to find leopards on International Leopard Day? I feel as though we've let the side down tremendously. I just had a thought. Hold on 1 second. Something that I saw but didn't quite register. I just want to go back and look at. They were in the heart of Cheetah Plains, and it is very, very quiet here, to say the least. Oh, sorry. Shower Craig with some sticks, just to emphasize the lack of things I've given him to film, just to make his afternoon that little bit harder. Sorry, Craig. There's not much turning space on this road. I just want to go back and check why. What is going on here? We're speaking of clues, which is of course always a winner with the kids on their school drive. Why is there all of this white stuff in the road? Can we have a look at is it just a piece of millipede? Hold on, I'm getting out. Bear with me a second. It's always a risky business because as soon as I unplug my comms, they disappear. No, it is bird droppings. Why are they all here? All the way back along here. Okay. Question asked, question answered. Interesting though. Seems as though a guinea fowl party came running along this road, depositing all of their feces at exactly the same time. Which is kind of weird. Maybe they were roosting here. Seems like an odd place for a guinea fowl flock to roost. There we go, there's the answer. Seems like such an odd place for a guinea fowl flock to come and roost. Usually they go into places like jackalberry trees or nice big leadwoods or something like that. Something a bit more comfortable than bush willows. But they've all deposited their excrement in the middle of the road. Maybe they just came wandering down here and had a bit of a rest in the shade that they provided. I guess that's a possibility as well. Mystery. One of those random little things in the bush. I think I'm going to try turn around here, where it's slightly more open. So for my next trick, I'll go and search Djuma Dam. That's what we're going to go and do. All of the other water holes, apart from the ones with the warthogs, have been completely devoid of life. Even the birds have been hiding from me on Cheetah Plains, and Cheetah Plains is usually quite spectacular for bird life. Julie, you want to know what is my favorite animal to track? The most satisfying I find to track is probably a leopard, just because of the challenge that it entails. So when you get it right, it feels really very good. My favorite animal to track though is rhino, honestly, hands down. Maybe it's because I've spent more time tracking them than I have anything else. Maybe it's because they're actually quite easy to track, and I enjoy the increased rate of success. That was to try and stop the spiderweb going on the lens, by the way. Just trying to grab it with my hands. I don't think that came across too well. It's the twitch that I've developed in response to the lack of animal life. I really enjoy tracking rhino, and I've had all of my nicest sightings on foot, I would say, have been rhino related. Black rhino especially, they're awesome. They're mad, they're completely bonkers. They do the strangest things for absolutely no reason, but it makes it even more special when you are with them on foot. So I guess that's my favorite animal to track. I think I'd find it hard to choose. No animal is unpleasant to find when you're searching for them, especially on a day like today. I mean, these elephants have been wandering all along this road, but their tracks are going straight south across onto Mala Mala. So the hope that I got when I first saw the elephant tracks has been dashed. And I heard a buffalo walk through here as well, but 2 days ago. Wow, These are all animals with 4 legs, leaving footprints in the dirt, but there's...
Hello everybody, sorry about that rather sort of hasty cut. As I say, things have just been a little bit difficult out here. In this grass stalk, we have got a spider. I told you we were going to find spiders. You know why I told you we were going to find spiders, everybody? That's because I knew we would. Because on International Leopard Day, I knew without a doubt that we would probably not find leopards, but I knew that given the number of spiders we've had over the last little while, we'd be able to find spiders. Now, let's put this chap under the microscope because he's so very small, he's impossible to see. Now, this is going to take me a little while to sort out. Do not cue the microscope yet, please, Alice. Oh, there he is. There we go. Let's have a look now. There we go. Seb, just do that again. Would you put your shadow behind there?
Yeah.
There we can see the spider.
Does help.
He's fantastic, or she is. And I think what we've got in there, if I just change the focus a little bit, is 2 spiders, one probably a male and one a female, or maybe a little spiderling that's hatched from an egg. Isn't that cool? I just think that's absolutely astounding. Now that thing is less than a millimeter wide long. It is a tiny, tiny, tiny little thing. Look at it. It's still fully alive. It's got little golden hairs on it. Doesn't know what on earth's happening. Suddenly it's got bright again under the light of this microscope. It feels probably a bit like being in a classroom. It's neon light. I just think that is too gorgeous for words. Hey? And let's just try and focus slowly onto the other one. There we go. There we are. And there's the little one. I think that's a male. Don't know why I think it's a male, but I do. Because I don't think it's small enough to be a spiderling. Is it more than one? Let me just try and turn it round slightly. No. Come back to me, Alice. Let me just try and get this slightly better. What I'm going to do is put myself behind it, because then we might get a slightly better exposure on our little spider friend. Oh, he's moving. And there we go, Alice. There we are. Isn't that cool? That's the front end. And what you can see, I didn't find the other one again, but what we have found is the shell, the husk of a fly that she's eaten. And in fact may still be eating. See that black thing obscured by the thick green stalk. Then let's just go down to that yellowish thing at the bottom. There. What is that, do you suppose? No idea. She's now moving. Of course, she's just either at rest or sucking that hapless fly dry. Oh, wow. I mean, this is just the world going on around us, isn't it? All around us, countless millions of these spiders are going about their lives. Thousands of species of them. There she goes. And most of the time, we do not even notice them. Her eyes are shining.
Yeah.
Look at that. Hi.
So cool.
Look at her little white hairs. Now she's adopted a defensive pose. I think it's a little jumping spider. I think she's a little jumping spider, and she's now preparing to escape because she thinks she knows she's been spotted. But look how her eyes are reflecting the light from the microscope. And often, you know, you can find wolf spiders, for example, on the ground during a night drive. You'll find them and you'll think you've spotted something quite nice, but actually it's just a wolf spider sitting on the ground. Gosh, that is just too fantastic for words. of course, all of this whole ecosystem couldn't function without creatures like this. It wouldn't be possible. There'd be an overwhelming number of things like this beastly fly that she's managed to catch. And we must do well. We do well to remember that, because we're now starting to tread really delicately around the tent, because we know that in just about every bush there's a spider's web or something knocking about there that's trying to make a living for itself. There she's moving now. And we do well to remember that when we drive off-road and even when we're walking off-road, I think that is just brilliant. Don't you think that's fantastic? And there she is. She's so tiny. And you can hardly see that. Now, you may have noticed that she was a little bit sort of black and white on her legs. Well, Byron has managed to find something else that is black and white on its legs.
Thank you, Spider-Man. I have indeed. We found some zebra. Cool. Finally, we found some animals. And a beautiful light on them this afternoon. It's perfect time, and great for photography. This last golden hour, I would say, of light. You probably don't need any filters or anything if you're taking good pictures in this type of light. I'm just going to move forward a little bit and try and get a bit closer to these zebras. Some impala dotted through here too, so there are quite a few animals. See how close we can get. I don't want these zebra to move off, but there seems like a lovely herd. A dazzle of zebra. There's a nice one right here. Look at the tail swishing backwards and forwards. Let me go a little bit forward, get this bush out the way. Hello. Oh, he's very relaxed. That's lovely. A nice big male stallion. See some scars on their legs now. A lot of those scars, it could be from biting. No, not at all. Every zebra stripes are different and unique. It is just like our fingerprints, completely unique and different to each zebra. And what I find fascinating is the young, when they are born, the foals. As soon as they are born, the youngsters are able to, or their mother's pattern is embedded in their memory, and they're able to recognize their mother in a herd very, very easily. Oh, look at that. That's lovely. Wow. Very beautiful. And they're all enjoying this long grass at the moment, ideal for the zebra. Now, they're also bulk feeders. They are not ruminants like some of the other animals we have out here. They are hind gut fermenters. That is the digestive system of a zebra. They are known as hind gut fermenters. So the food is digested, but what often happens with the zebra is a lot of gas builds up in their stomachs and gives them that bloated look. And if the zebra run away, you can actually hear that they're full of gas. That's one of the funny things about zebra, but they do build up quite a large amount of gas, and they always look very full. And those oxpeckers are bothering that zebra a little bit, but they're so nice to see them, nice and relaxed. That's a lovely shot. Very beautiful. Are the oxpeckers. Anyway, I think from these beautiful, dazzling zebras, Jamie's got a large animal in the water she'd like to show you.
a pod of hippopotamus that have gathered together in Djuma Dam, confusingly named because it is in fact on Cheetah Plains, and they've actually just shown signs of not quite waking up. It's still a little bit early for them to be heading out on their nightly stroll, but they are yawning, not at us, which confused me a little bit, because typically yawning from a hippopotamus is a sign of agitation in some way, but it's not at us. They're not looking at us. They're not in any way concerned about us. I'm not sure what it was. And typically I've found that the hippos at Djuma Dam tend to be slightly shyer than the ones at Chitwa Dam. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just that the ones at Chitwa see more vehicles. That one hippo on the left got right up out of the water, not facing us, not looking at us at all, and now has gone back to where it was. It is nice and cool already. They might head out early, but I doubt it. Hippopotamus are nocturnal feeders. You can see closing its ears as it ducks under the surface of the water, making sure that no water runs into its ear canal and gives it a nasty ear infection. It's amazing when they disappear like that. You would never know that they were there until all of a sudden they pop their heads up again. Nice to see the hippo at Djuma Dam. I haven't seen them in a while. It's hard to believe this is the same place where... Gosh, when was it? Now I'm trying to work out exactly when it was, but when we were here, we drove right into the middle of this waterhole. It was completely dry, and we were sitting watching the Styx cubs play about right on this exact bank. It's really hard to believe when you see it from months later, filled with water all the way up the drainage line. And yes, this is exactly the same place. We were watching the shame. None of those Styx cubs actually made it, but it was back when they were all 8 of them were still together, and they were running up and down into this drainage line, back in again. And Cheetah Plains definitely received, of the places that we drive, Cheetah Plains definitely received the most rain, which is great for these hippos as we go into our dry season. I would say, I think we're still going to see the water holes dry up. They're certainly not as full as or a lot of them aren't as full as they were when I first arrived 2 years ago. But there's a lot more water than there was last year. It's far better. I mentioned that the hippos will be making their way out onto the banks as the evening draws in and going off in search of their dinner. George, no, hippo are not fish eaters at all. They are, in fact, grazers. They only eat grass. Despite their large size and somewhat savage-looking tusks, they definitely aren't fish eaters. Of course, the famous story went that the hippopotamus's skin was so sensitive to the sun that he went to the creator of all things and said, "Please, can I live in the water? The sun is burning my skin." And the crocodile objected and said, "No, but you'll eat all my fish." And the hippopotamus said, "No, I absolutely will not eat all of your fish." And eventually they came to an agreement, thanks to the wise creator of all things, that the hippo would yawn constantly and would scatter its dung with its tail, so that the crocodile could see that there were no fish bones in its mouth and no fish bones in its dung. Make of that what you will. Hippopotamus yawn when they feel agitated or threatened, and they scatter their dung to mark their territory. Either way, it makes for a fantastic story, and one that all safari goers love when they hear it, when they're sitting with hippos having their sundowners. Janet, you want to know, so do hippos never ever eat meat? No, they do. It's very unusual. Bear in mind that almost all herbivores will occasionally supplement their diet by nibbling off carcasses. Duikers, specifically warthogs as well, will also do it. It's quite a grim thing to see, but it does happen, and hippo have been recorded nibbling off dead hippo that have sort of bobbed up in a waterhole, that have died in a waterhole. No, they have been recorded eating meat, and that's really not because they are in any way meat eaters. They're not carnivores. It's just a way of supplementing, adding a little bit of additional protein to their diet. It's very rare, but it does happen. So to say that they never touch meat would be not quite true. They are recorded to do it. But they are grazers. They are herbivores. Well, since our hippopotamus are being rather sleepy once again and have come to find a restful spot, I don't think an arachnophobe would survive long in the tent, but fortunately James is not one.
Hello everybody, I just thought I would quickly draw you what I was talking about earlier with the taxonomy of a grasshopper. It's not, I think it's really interesting. I accept that some of you might find it slightly boring, but bear with me. And also, if you bear with me to the end, I will draw you something very special, and you all know that I'm a spectacularly good artist. Good. Okay, so I can't write, you can see that. I'm virtually unable to write in my own hand, other than on a typewriter. I also have completely terrible ability to spell, so I may well misspell most of these things. So I thought we'd look at three animals. We've got grasshopper, leopard, being International Leopard Day, and of course we have a flaky thorn, which is this tree over here. And I thought I would just sort of show you how we as human beings have classified these things. And we've pigeonholed them all very nicely and neatly, and the more we look into their DNA, the more we see that it's not easy to pigeonhole them, and that it's a much more fluid kind of gradation between species. But this is basically how we do it. So if we look at the grasshopper, of course it is in the animal kingdom, right? The leopard is also in the animal kingdom. The flaky thorn, of course, is not. It's in a completely different kingdom. It's in the plants. So we're going to call that a plant. Then the phylum that it belongs to, the grasshopper, belongs to the phylum. Don't forget this, Henry, now. Yes. It's an invertebrate. That means it has no backbone. All right, invertebrate. There we go. The leopard, of course, is a vertebrate. It does have a backbone. Now, there are Latin terms for all of these things, but it's a little bit easier to do it like this. Vertebrate. You see, sorry about this. I don't even think that's how you spell it. And then the phylum for the flaky thorn is not really disclosed. We're not sure exactly, but its class, we'll just write it here. First is angiosperm. Now the point, that means a flowering plant, so I'm just going to put flowers. Now what's cool here is that you can see immediately that although the leopard and the grasshopper belong to the same kingdom, they split very early on into the vertebrates and the invertebrates. So those with a sort of hard exoskeleton and those with an internal skeleton, right? So then we go down to class. And what we found is the grasshopper belongs to the arthropods. Arthropods. And what that means, of course, is that it's jointed. It has a jointed exoskeleton, all right? So now it's left behind other invertebrates, such as the mollusks, for example. Then we go to the leopard, and we find that its class, of course, is the very familiar mammals. All right, so it's a mammal. Then we go down to order, and I mentioned this. It was the Orthoptera, Orthoptera. The spelling might be completely incorrect. The order of the leopards, Carnivora, the carnivores. Carnivore. If you are a school teacher, you might be wondering why I'm so unable to write. Well, I wondered the same thing. Flaky thorn here, the order it belongs to is the basically, I think it's called the Fabale. Not very interesting. Then we're going to leave out suborders just to show you that there are gradations between the two. Then the family it belongs to. What was the family? Now that specific grasshopper, I don't know what family it belonged to. I don't know what genus it belonged to, and I don't know what species it belonged to because it isn't in the book. So there are just lots and lots of them that are very difficult to tell. The leopard's much easier, of course. The family it belongs to, of course, is the cats. The Felidae. The genus is Panthera. And the species is Pardus. So the leopard's easy because it's very familiar, and there are not many different kinds of leopards, and so that's quite easy. And we'll just go on to the flaky thorn here quickly. The family it belongs to is the Fabaceae, which is, you don't have to remember all this, of course. The genus, of course, is Acacia. In fact, it's not anymore. It used to be. It's now Verreaux. Verreaux. And the Acacia exuvialis, yes. The genus is exuvialis. Okay, so that's basically how animals are being classified. And it all started with a chap called Carl Linnaeus, and he started classifying animals basically according to how similarly they looked to each other. This was in the 1700s, and so animals that looked the same, he gave similar sort of classifications to, and it was him that came up with the binomial classification, and that means means naming species by their genus and their species. We, Homo genus sapiens, our species. Good. Now, your reward for listening to that load of drivel. Are you ready? It is, of course, as we know, International Leopard Day. And so I thought that I would draw Shongile, my favourite leopard. There she is. I have never drawn her this big before. I feel quite honoured to be drawing her this big. What are you laughing about? Of course, Seb has never seen me draw before, have you, Seb? Is this your first experience of my drawing? You are very lucky indeed. She's got quite sharp claws on front and back feet.
It's like a bear.
It does not look like a bear, it looks like a cat. You may notice the camera is shaking slightly. That is because Seb doesn't think this looks like a leopard. Which of course he's wrong about. It does look like a leopard. And then of course we must do her spot pattern, and I can never remember which side it is. I think she's 3-4 like her mum. And the way I remember of her, of course, is her Cindy Crawford mole that she's got just over there. So, beautiful girl. We'll just give her some claws because she's not to be trifled with. There we go. Beautiful, isn't she? And then, of course, she's kind of got her nice white tip to the tail, bit of stripes here, and then all the spots. No, I'm not going to draw all the spots because that will take until next week, and this is just a sort of artist's impression. Picasso, if you will. A few lines telling the full story. And then, of course, she has got sort of very brown eyes, and you know how we make brown, don't you, Seb? We make green, and then we cover it in red, if I remember correctly. Yes, there we are. I'm exactly correct. That's what I remember from my nursery school art class when I wasn't outside climbing on a tree, which clearly I was doing much more of than my art class. Everybody, there he is. She just needs quickly one last addition. She just needs to have her princess's crown. Shouldn't be more a tiara, but leopards don't wear tiaras, they wear crowns. Shongile. There you are. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you my favourite leopard on World Leopard Day, Shongile the leopard. Good. Okay. Right. Let's go back inside, shall we? See if we can find something else to tell you about. What I'm going to do now is have a look into the buffalo skull, because the last time I looked into this buffalo skull, there were some. Before I do that, there was a violin spider that had an egg sac, and I want to know if they have hatched or not. There is another beautiful, and this one I can actually identify. I think it's a Theracles. There's another beautiful grasshopper. Yes, sitting on the hapless figure of Bertie, the buffalo, long dead. Sometime it's been dead, about probably a few years now, since Bertie shook off this mortal coil at the teeth and claws of quite possibly the Nkahuma pride. But we won't dwell on such tragedies. Let us look inside his head and see if we can find a spider. Now, of course, what you don't want to do is empty the spider onto your lap. So we will try desperately to avoid doing that. Yes, certainly quite smelly in there. Alrighty. Let's have a look-see. Turn all the light up. Do a bit of focusing. And what do we have? At the moment, not much. No spiders. Let me do one last sort of squiz inside there. I can show you what we're seeing. It's just not particularly exciting at this stage. I think that the... Oh, there we go. It may have belonged to a spider. Anyway, there's a lot of grass seed in there. You can see that there has been spider activity inside. You can see that, of course, from the cobwebs. But I'm not sure how much activity there is in it now, unfortunately. So maybe those eggs have hatched and gone away. Ooh. What is that? That's very interesting. Okay, well, I'm not sure. We might just have another look in there by the naked eye and see if we can't spot something. But I'm afraid this buffalo skull has let us down. Bertie, I feel your contribution to the world is now ended. We will have to try and find something in another buffalo skull, which I don't have with me right now. Good. Right, shall we check out our stingless bees, perhaps? This is... Next. Yes. I remain horribly disappointed yet again that not one of you has asked a question about Byron. Not one of you has wanted to know anything about him, how he's put together, compared him with Taylor. No, you've just looked at him and kind of left him alone. Anyway, I'm going to investigate what's going on inside this skull rather than embarrass myself live. Let's go across to Byron and you can compare his physique with that of this beautiful creature here.
Thank you, Spider-Man. Now, James, what toy is it that you've shown everybody or that you've named after me? What is the toy? Alice, can you tell me what is it? I don't know what it is. I'm very confused. The little skeleton. Is that what it is? Is the muscle man? Oh, Spider-Man having fun in the tent there, are we? Don't you think that's appropriate for James this afternoon? Calling him Spider-Man, he's been digging up all kinds of spiders. He mentioned he didn't believe me the other day when I said I had found the black button spider in that box outside the tent, and he thought, no, it can't be. And when he looked, he couldn't believe it. He thought, it is indeed. And this morning, also, James and I found a brown button spider in the plug points near the vehicles. So him and I are a little bit nervous at the moment just to go anywhere because of the amount of those button spiders who we know are very venomous. And I know James has got into a lot of detail with that already. Now I'm heading down to Chitwa Dam. That's my plan. I'm going to try and see if there are any animals in the clearing, which I'm hoping. I'm sure the hippo are there, and maybe we're lucky and there might still be a crocodile out basking in what's left of the sunlight. But I think we'll have a beautiful sunset from there, so I'll try reposition. I may lose signal just getting there, but once I'm there, it should be okay on the dam. So let's see. Warthogs. Hello, Warties. I can hear the hippo in the dam in the distance. Maybe we get some wonderful calls. Lovely. Nice to see the warthogs. I know Jamie saw some earlier. But always nice to see them out in the open. That's a nice big male that we can see. Alright, I'm just having a little chuckle at the ladies in the FC, everyone. I do apologize. But it sounds like Jamie has something in the road she would like to show you.
It seems as though we've found something relatively unexpected in the middle of the road. We get to feel so familiar with the roads that we drive them every day, twice a day. Now when something is different, it stands out rather spectacularly. And the fact that our rhino carcass that we drive past every time we're on this road, we know that it's here. The fact that it is now lying scattered in the middle of the road is a bit confusing. I want to try and... oh, my goodness. I can't show you this. I can, actually. That's my earpiece. Craig, I don't know if you're able to focus on the spiders that are currently billowing. Never mind, they're billowing towards you. And now... This is so cool. We must have just caught a whole load of them while they were parachuting. There's one here on my earpiece itself, over here. Ooh. A spider full drive. It's racing towards the label that clearly says Brent and not Jamie, but we'll ignore that. There, can you see it there, Craig? Huh. So there's about 20 of them. Most of them on my earpiece or at least around my leg. And then the rest of them where we plug our earpieces in. I don't know if we caught a whole load of baby spiders as they were parachuting away from wherever they've hatched, or if they've hatched in the vehicle and we've just decided this is where they want to be. Can you see them there, Craig? You can. Oh, awesome. Huh. Well, here's hoping they're not all the brown button spiders' offspring that have probably guaranteed to have hatched at some point. Also, you can tell the original color of Rusty, just by the way. Rusty apparently used to be red and not our green. Are you little brown button spiders? Oh, sorry, I breathed on them funny. Don't. They look like brown button spiders, but we'll just pretend that that's not the case and carry on. And I'll just casually sweep some of them off my leg. Oh, the rhino carcass. Wonder what's been playing here. I wonder if it was a person that was playing here. No, it wasn't. It was a hyena. I mean, its tracks are here as clear as day. It just goes to show that even an ancient carcass, and this carcass is about 2 years old, hyenas might still come and have a little bit of a chew. It's not like they didn't know it was here either, but maybe the hyena was just feeling a bit bored. His tracks are all over the place, so it was definitely a hyena. By the way, this rhino wasn't a poaching victim. It was a rhino that died of natural causes. That is really smelly, actually. But also, the hip joint, so part of the pelvis of this rhino, they're really, really massive. And this is a small rhino. This was a small rhino. There's still a little bit of meat on the muscle attachment point into the bone. So there was something for this hyena to chew on. You can see clearly the socket, the way that the joint would sit in the ball and socket joint of the hip. It's really very cool. So that's the hip bone, or part of the hip bone. Apparently this one had a fight with another rhino. I'm going to put it back off the road. Ugh, need some hand sanitizer. This is its head, or part of its head. This is the strength of a hyena. This is heavy. This is really very heavy. This weighs more than that giraffe skull does in the tent with James. So this was a rhino skull. Hold on a minute. You don't really get to talk about them all that often, so we might as well take the opportunity to. Oh, that's quite gross. Alright, so this is the top part of the head, and this is where the brain sits behind here. This is the orbital cavities over here. And then the nose has been largely chewed off by hyenas. The growth plate of the horn sits around about here. So this nose would typically extend another half a foot outwards in a proper skull. And the growth point sits over here and over here. And you can actually very clearly see that this wasn't a poaching victim because the growth point of the second horn is still visible. And that's the part that usually gets cut away when poachers hack them up, which is terrible to say, but there's no point in denying it. And then here, it's teeth. Can you see it there, Craig? Are they high enough? The molars. Yeah. Over there. So there you go. Hyena dragged it out, had another good chew for some reason. Can't have tasted that great. And it's not like, maybe there is a shortage of food around, but I don't think so. Now let's pop this back as well. Here we go. So we know about this rhino skull. We've driven past it many times, but I've never seen it out in the open like this. Obviously the hyena had a great time. There's a vertebra for a sense of scale. And as I said, this is not a big rhino, or wasn't a particularly big rhino. Here we go. Ugh. A little bit stinky. Not too serious. We don't talk about rhino, we don't show rhino. Well, we don't talk about them, we don't show rhino, as you know. But for our new viewers, because of the poaching issues within South Africa, the wild... There's something running very rapidly away. What on earth was that? I just hear things crashing and cracking. Hold on. So we don't show rhino, it's Wild Earth's policy not to. I wonder if I was really very close to an elephant that I didn't realize. Or a buffalo. Something came thundering through here. There's the tracks where it... I think that's where it came running out. No, that's going the other way. Something came dashing through here at high speed. I have no idea. Huh. It wasn't an elephant. There's no fresh tracks here. This must have been what it was. I must have scared something relatively large. It didn't pay any attention to any obstacles in its way. It just went thundering through. It just goes to show you probably should pay attention when you get out of the vehicle. Sometimes I forget to. There's the running tracks. Those are fresh. You can see the way the dirt's scuffed. This was an animal moving at high speed. Such high speed that I'm not quite sure what it was. I'm not 100% sure. Something with a hoof. And the size of the hoof, I'd say not buffalo. Maybe a wildebeest? I don't know. It's a mystery. Whenever it is, it's probably still continuing east at high speed. Ugh. Oh, hi, Monique. Monique in London. Monique, I don't think I've actually answered a question from you in ages. Monique, you want to know how do rhino, going back to our rhino exploration, interact with other animals? They will, if they find lions, I've seen them chase lions before. I've also seen young lions practice hunting rhino. So they do occasionally, and they are capable of hunting rhino if they've got big enough numbers. I know just recently in the sands, a lion pride killed a black rhino calf. That was last week sometime. That does happen. Other rhino, it depends obviously on their social structure. Antelope and so on, they tend to ignore, they're not too bothered by. Occasionally you get a short-tempered rhino, particularly dominant bulls that might decide that they want to chase everything else away. And there's that famous picture of the rhino with the zebra foal. The rhino that rescued the zebra foal. And the rhino didn't rescue the zebra foal. It was a zebra foal stuck in mud. The rhino went to investigate and did some prodding and ultimately ended up killing the poor zebra foal. But I mean, it came across the series of photographs like the rhino had rescued it. So I've seen them occasionally chase antelope, but it's unusual. Quite rare to see something like that. I can see through the trees that there is a potential for a gorgeous sunset. Apparently Byron's got a slightly better view away from the... Never mind, I take that back.
Found another one. I didn't find this one, Seb found it. There it is. It's a jumping spider and we're moving very carefully around it. You can just see it there. I know it's a bit difficult. There it is. We're moving carefully around it because it's a little bit disconcerted with having been disturbed, and it's made a little home for itself inside this leaf, which will be returned to the tree from whence it came. But what I want to do now is try and show you this thing under the microscope, because then you will see something special. Please do not jump, little spider. There. How cool is that? I know it's a little bit jerky, sorry about that. I'm actually holding the microscope with me hand. But those front feet, those front legs, are equipped for hunting. A little bit like a lion's almost. And he will use those front feet, or she, to grab her prey. There, you can see them there. Beautiful. The focus is quite difficult to maintain. Isn't that fantastic? And look how outsized those front feet are, and that's because she jumps onto her prey. Sort of immobilizes it with the front feet. She'll then bite it and then wrap it in silk. And you can see she does produce silk. Gosh, she's beautiful. Now, Creatic, you say, is the spider poisonous? Creatlic. Spiders cannot be poisonous, you can eat them all, but they can be venomous. And that means that they can envenomate, or when they bite you, you will be inflicted with a poison or injected with a poison or venom. And this spider is venomous to its prey, but not to us, no. It might be able to give you a bite that would feel like a particularly mild bee sting. But to you and I, no. And you know, one of the reasons we know that, of course, is that those front legs there are the main weapons it has. That's what it uses to catch its prey. We're looking at its backside now. Just come back to me a sec, Alice, and I'll try and move it around a bit. There we are. And what I would like it to do, of course, is to go back into its home. But it's not doing that just yet. Ooh. Look at that. Have a go back to the microscope. There we go. Just stunning. Isn't that amazing? I know it's a little bit jerky. It's because I'm holding it. I'm going to move it again. Sorry, everybody. Laura, you're wondering about how they're able to jump, I think. Oh, look at that. Laura, I think they use those front feet as well. And I'm not sure exactly what other mechanism they use. I think it's probably largely those very strong front feet. Sorry, excuse the jerking. It's because I'm trying to get some focus here. Sorry about that, everybody. I know some of you are probably now feeling quite nauseous. There we go. And so they'll use those front feet to jump as well. Now, oh, she's moving. Look at her eyes. Oh my goodness, look at her.
Yes.
Hello, my girl. Please don't jump up. It looks like she's going to jump out of the screen. Those of you who might be a little bit arachnophobic will be leaning back from your screens now. How cool is that?
Sure.
Look at her red markings on the front of her face.
And those mandibles.
And those amazing mandibles, yeah. This is just beautiful. I think this spider might be one of the top things I've ever looked at under the microscope. She's climbing towards the light. She's reaching for it. Do not reach for the light. It is fake. It is not really Elysium that you have found.
Very mobile. Huh?
You know what? I don't want her to jump off this leaf. So let's come back here. And let's release her back onto her little... There she is. And I'll just show you where she lives. She lives inside, in between these two little leaves here. Just in there. And there you can see her thinking about going home. That is so cool. Now, Ruki, you're wondering about ingesting the venom and whether it would cause you harm or not. No, not from a spider like this. While we take it outside, I will tell you that in theory, if you ingested the venom of a black mamba, it wouldn't do you any harm. Now, a black mamba, of course, one of our most venomous snakes. She hasn't jumped off. And that would only be the case if you didn't have any cuts in your mouth and you didn't have any cuts going down to your digestive system. Once it reached the acid of your digestive or of your stomach, the proteins, that very complicated proteins that make up the venom, would be broken down. And so in theory, you could even ingest the venom of a black mamba. So certainly the spider's venom would not harm you at all. Right, we'll leave her there. She can move home if she wants to. And I just think that was brilliant. Okay, well, the sun is now set, so we'll turn a few lights on. And while we do that, we'll ask Byron when he's going to turn his lights on.
Spider-Man, I'm going to turn them on right now. There we go. The lights are on, but it doesn't make a difference. Not dark enough just yet. Still no luck, everyone. I do apologize. That's the way it goes sometimes. We've been searching high and low and just no sign or track. I heard some guinea fowl alarm calling earlier, but unfortunately it was in an area we just couldn't get to. And I think even if we did manage to find something there, we wouldn't have had signal with you. So that is unfortunate, but it's not to say they definitely saw something. It could have been a bird, but did sound like some guinea fowl alarm calling a deep drainage line. But there was no chance of getting in there to see what it was. It was too far for us. They moved that big stump. There we go. There was that big pushed over marula. Someone managed to move it. I'm assuming they used a tractor for that. It was very heavy. Koki Franklin calling off in the distance. Venkatesh, you asked how big is the safari park. So this is a natural game reserve, which is very, very big. It's roughly around 3.2 million hectares altogether, almost 7 million acres of land. So it's huge, it's massive. I mean, it's the largest game reserve in South Africa, and by far, and it's bigger than some countries. It's bigger than some European countries. Just to put things into perspective for you, it's really, really large. The animals are able to move freely throughout the entire reserve, wherever they want. There are obviously perimeter fences around the areas to keep people safe that live outside and to keep the animals safe. But the animals within the game reserve never see those fences because they never head out into those areas. So the fences are just basically there more for the people, to keep the people safe if anything is close by, and also to prevent people from coming into the game reserves. That's the only reason why there are perimeter fences. But like I say, the animals never see them. We never see them. Even where we are, we never see any fences. Oh, what are those little guys? Oh, did you see them? The little birds running through on the ground. I wonder if they weren't baby little quails. Where did they go? Very skittish little birds. Now let's see. Oh, I doubt we'll be able to spot them now. They're moving through the grass. I'm looking carefully. Tiny little birds. 3 of them. They were definitely chicks. They were very small. Ran across the road very quickly. And they have disappeared completely. Also, with the light that we've got at the moment, I doubt we'd be able to see them. It's not great light. Oh no, it was very quick. I wish I knew what that was. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's continue. See, there's always something going on. Always little things running or darting across the road. The temperature's definitely cooled down quite a bit, which is nice. I love these autumn evenings, cool temperature, very nice. And you know what? It's temperatures like this that you might get predators start getting active, waking up, moving around. Who knows? So I know some of you might be wondering what bird it was that I saw, but I don't know. It was those little birds that just ran. I couldn't see. I couldn't tell. It looked like little chicks. My guess was leaning towards little quails, perhaps young quails that just ran across the road quickly, but I didn't see. I couldn't see, so I'm not sure. Oh dear, so it sounds like a monkey's alarm calling around Galago. I'm on Central at the moment. Let's try see if I can get there quickly. I'm quite far. I've just come from the one side. James can apparently hear them. Monkeys and impala. Oh no, there's something alarm calling there. Alright, let's go to James, get an update where those alarm calls are coming from. I'll try get there.
So where you, Seb is pointing the camera there is where the impala are alarm calling. They're over there. Just listen a second. You won't be able to hear them because we don't have ambient microphone on this. Yes. So the Vuurtela Dam, keep an eye on the dam cam actually. If the Zoomy is watching, just swing the dam cam far all the way to the left if you can. You might pick up something there. The Djuma Dam is kind of over there, the Galago Pan is over there, and it sounds to me like there's an animal in the drainage line between the two camps. So that's very exciting. Maybe Byron will get there. I'm not sure how close he is. In the meantime, I found something else to show you. Maybe we'll get a leopard on Leopard Day, World Leopard Day. The zoo, my damn cam feed is frozen. Anyway, send us through, would you, one-word tweet. We know we've found thus far to failed to find you a leopard, but send us through a one-word tweet telling us what leopards mean to you, and maybe even the Safari Live leopards, if you like. What they mean to you, what do leopards mean to you, hashtag Safari Live, one word, please. That would be wonderful. We'll have a look at those once we've had a look at these. Oh, yes, there we are. Let's go to the microscope, can we? Look at these little ants. We've got some beautiful ants. Well, there were. They live in this thorn. There we are. They live in this little thorn. You can see them knocking about there. And I've looked and searched far and wide to find a thorn with slender ants in it before, and this is the first one that I found and managed to put under the microscope. Now, these ants are less than 1 millimeter long. They are tiny, tiny little things. And they're going about collecting things. They keep leaving, going off on the black paper there, and then coming back and going back into their home. And as with all of the creatures that we have under the microscope, we will release them, I promise. I just think this is fantastic. And as I was saying earlier, there's the detail of what's going on out here is sometimes so far beneath our notice that we stamp really fairly carelessly when we walk around, certainly when we drive around. And how many countless creatures like this have we sent to an unfortunate and untimely demise on account of our carelessness? But the same goes for an elephant that's walking through the bush. Same goes for a rhino or a buffalo or even something like a lion. If a lion stands on this, you can be sure that he would tear it out of his foot, and these ants would be scattered to the wind like so much chaff. I think that's beautiful. Now, I think they're slender ants, and just to keep you posted, the monkeys don't seem to be alarm calling anymore. So I would suggest Byron began his search on quarantine clearings. I'm just seeing him racing there. I can see his feed. He's racing along. But I'm not sure exactly where he is. Anyway, let's just keep looking at these ants for a little while, and we'll hopefully get a couple of one-word tweets from you in the meantime. Now, they're living in the thorn of Acacia exuvialis. And Acacia exuvialis is the flaky thorn, which was the tree that I showed you earlier. Dana, you say strength. That's your word for the one-word leopard tweet. Yes, I think strength is a good one. Diana, you say magnificent. I'm trying to think of one for myself. Seb, what's your one-word tweet for leopards?
Spotted.
Spotted. Seb says that they're spotted. Yes, they are. That is true.
No, Max. Trying to spot one.
Right, spotted. Good idea. Yes, okay. My one-word tweet is going to be majestic. Good. Okay, let's leave those antis to them. In fact, no, let's not. Let's take them back. Right, we have dam cam action again. In fact, shall we go to the dam cam? Can we do that? Is that possible? Right, we're at the dam cam. There, the impala. They're not looking particularly skittish. Now, if our dear Zumi, whoever you are, thank you for your hard work. Thank you for what you're doing. Yeah, if you could keep swinging that way. Keep going to the right there. Oh dear, you see the light's starting to fade, and so this camera really does struggle. Keep swinging right as far as you can, and then those lights shining into the lens will stop it doing this. Unfortunately, it's those lights shining into the lens that are making it try and focus. Just swing all the way right if you can. That, of course, is a slight delay from when my voice gets to the Zumi's ear. No, that's the left. Okay. Let's head back to Jamie while we try and figure out what's going on here. She is back with, well, I say, next to spiders, the second most spotted animal we've seen today. Cancel link, off sync. Right, okay. Good, right, and the Zumi's going the right way now. Let's go back to the dam cam if we can. Can we? We can. There we are. Now, no, we can't. Impala there are the ones that were shouting. They don't look particularly freaked out at the moment, but it is quite difficult to tell. Yeah, maybe this thing, whatever it is, has gone up to Galago Pan, maybe up towards Mvubu Road. Well, I just don't know where Byron is. I'll tell you what, show you where Byron is if you like. Come back to me here. And, well, here's a good excuse to just sort of show us, yeah? Now, if we go over to this map here, there, this is quite fun. I wish we could do this live, or at least without sort of doing it through the camera, but that's cool for now. There is the Vuyatela Dam. That's the dam there. We were looking, can you see the little finger here, the little handy here? Yeah, you can. There's the hand. That's where those impala were. That's Mvubu Road there. Obviously, this is not a live picture. This is a Google Earth map. And then over there is the Galago Pan. Now, Byron is this little thing here. He's on the dam wall, and so while I zoom slowly down towards him, let's go across and see what he's found.
So, James, okay, now I'm trying to work out, everyone, where we need to be looking for these alarm calls. James said he heard monkeys alarm calling, impala alarm calling. Now, I just need to find out if it was to this side of the camp, or was it in the drainage line between Vuyatela and Galago? Hold on. Where was that? So, James, if you can relay a message to everyone, and was it... Okay, so it is towards Galago, that's what I thought. Okay, let's go have a look down there. We're not too far. Hold on, stick with us, because this could get exciting, and you never know, we could potentially find something at any minute. And this is exciting, isn't it? Right, okay, so heading towards Galago. Okay, we're going to keep our eyes peeled now. I'm going to use a spotlight. It might help us. Yeah, I think we're good now for spotlights. So it might make it okay here. There's a lot of impala around here. I'm not going to shine on them. But over here too, there's some rutting impala around here. The males chasing females. So I don't think anything here. And I think James means closer to that drainage line, just between Galago and Vuyatela. Let's see, here we go. We're starting to get closer to a little drainage line. Just going to go through a little dip here. I don't think we'll lose signal, but... Alice, I don't hear you there. Yes, okay. Thanks, Alice. Alright, so James says towards Galago Pan is probably a better bet, so I'm heading there, not too far, but I do want to scan this area carefully. Here's a giraffe. Hello, giraffe. Terribly sorry, we're not going to stick around. A beautiful female, but the reason why I don't want to stick with her, and I do apologize everyone, but if there are alarm calls, if there's a predator in the area, it's going to be moving quickly. As I said, it's cooled down nicely, so the chances of things moving around now are a lot greater. So let's see. I'm dodging little holes and stumps while shining a spotlight. It's not easy. There we go. Okay, I'm going to start looking carefully around here. Like James said, closer towards Galago Pan. I hope all of you are sitting on the edge of your seats like I am. Okay, there's a nyala over there. They would have given a bark, a very prominent bark, if they heard an alarm, if they saw anything. So I don't think James heard any nyala barking. And they look quite relaxed. Okay, now we're approaching this drainage line now. So I'm going to have a look around here and then head closer towards... now my one-word tweet for a leopard while we're racing around trying to find a potential leopard, I think. One-word tweet, I would say regal. I think my one-word tweet would be regal. Really beautiful regal animals. Dave, do you have one? Okay, Dave will think of one. Hang on. Come on, I don't want to miss anything, everyone. So Holly, you said wildness. Or wildness, yeah. For your tweet. Super dude said unpredictable. Oh, come on. It's exciting, but I don't hear any alarm calls at the moment. I'm here at Gallagher Pan now, but we're going to check very carefully. Maybe there's something lying at the waterhole, or possibly just moved off and is lying not too far. Okay, so James says maybe head up towards Gallagher shortcut, Gallagher Road. Alright, James. How's this for teamwork, everyone? James heard alarm calls. He's given us an idea of where to look. Now we are doing the looking and the searching and trying to pick up any sign of a potential predator. Maybe it had a quick drink at Gallagher Pan and moved off again. Jamie's also coming up here. Oh. I'm trying to check every little path that's leading through the thicker areas. As we saw this morning with Tingana, leopards, just because we do see them on the road now and then doesn't mean they're always on the roads. They will move through thicker areas too. Oh no, I'm looking on top of termite mounds. Nothing there in the trees. Don't worry, I do think that, as I said, it's always too soon to panic. But if there was something around here, we would most certainly find it. Well, that's what I think. Especially with all the teamwork going on. But the thing is, that was a while ago, and it took us a little bit longer to get into the area because we were so far. But not to worry. Okay, now I hear Jamie is also heading into this area to give us a hand. Let's quickly head across to her and see how far she is.
We are nearly at the Voyatella Dam, so we can help Byron out with whatever's been causing alarm calls. But look at this, we've got an owl! And it looks absolutely stunning in the top of this dead tree. I'm pretty sure it's a Verreaux. It looks absolutely massive. It's hard to get a sense of any colouring or anything like that. Is it an owl? Hold on. We have a bird of prey. Let us rephrase that. Is it an owl though? I thought I saw little tufts that looked very owl-like. It does look like an owl. The shape of the head and the shape of the body and that sort of round tip to the tail. I think it's a Verreaux. The biggest the biggest owl that we get out here. Absolutely massive, and I think one of the most beautiful birds of prey that we get. It soars about searching for roosting guinea fowl and spur fowl or scrub hares. Big prey. for a big bird. And you saw that fork-tailed drongo. They've been mobbing it. There's arrow-marked babblers alarm calling, and I heard a squirrel alarm call earlier, which the recipe for a pretty shot. Just giving you an opportunity to take in the atmosphere. Now, there's nothing much more dramatic than a silhouette of a dead tree, but I can think of one thing, and that is a silhouette of James.
There we are, everybody. We are now standing on this tree looking towards where Byron is driving. He's over there, and I've just seen his lights come sort of scuttling past in that direction. I use the word scuttle because, of course, we've seen so many spiders today, so I have them on my mind. Now, if it was Karula, which we think it probably isn't, obviously, but if it was, she'd probably come up through here, and there's a path that goes up and onto quarantine clearings. And so she, Mvula, certainly has used that path. I've seen Tingana use that path as well. So if there is a leopard around, it could easily be passing through here and onto quarantine clearings. And Byron is just over there looking around in that exact area. So with any luck, we might be lucky on that front. Then you might hear a buzzing noise in the background. That is not a mechanical buzzing noise. That is the buzzing of my very favourite insect, and very kind of it to start its song this late in the season. Of course, most cicadas are now under the ground, and as many of you will know, especially those of you in the United States, they are some of the longest lived insects in the world. Some of them will stay under the ground for up to 17 years. All right, we're going from something, well, my size down to something almost my size, standing in a very similar situation.
Scanning the situation and looking around to see what potential prey is there. Definitely a Verreaux, so there we go. There were actually two, believe it or not. I didn't spot the second one until I drove around for a better angle for the first, and it flew out of the tree next to it. Presumably a mated pair, probably the ones that we often find around that massive jackalberry on Gowrie Cutline. Generally speaking, their territories are around about 4 kilometers in length, usually along some kind of a river stretch, but not always. But the Mulwati, which is the drainage line, basically a dried up river system, is the perfect place for a Verreaux eagle owl pair to set up camp. This is magnificent. Out quite early, actually, before it's got completely dark. I wonder what animals were alarm calling that were heard around Gallagher Pan. Probably wasn't this Verreaux eagle owl pair that set them off. I just wanted to show you, just so we could conclude the mystery. Really quite beautiful. But now we've got to rush because it is International Leopard Day. We've got alarm calls. I'm going to go and help Byron out like we promised. Now while he's checking the northern side of the dam, we're going to go and check around Voyatella Dam itself. And there's a lot of game paths that lead between Gallagher Pan and Voyatella. And actually not many other places to go unless they go around the back and past our camp, which is also a possibility. So I think Byron's already checked that route. And we'll go and check the southern section. You never know. We've got a few minutes left. This International Leopard Day could end with a leopard yet. But if it doesn't, keep an eye out on the Djuma Dam camera to see if you can spot what it was that has caused such great alarm among the various citizens of Gallagher. Now don't forget to send through your one-word tweet on World Leopard Day. What do leopards mean to you? What is your favorite thing about leopards? What do they bring or what do they add to your life? And you can do that on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. I know James has asked you earlier. We would absolutely love to hear from you. I'm going to throw one in. I'm trying to think of one. I'm trying to think of one quickly. What shall be my one-word tweet for leopards? Mist. As in M-I-S-S-E-D, not mist like the cloud. Alright, but you never know. That might change in a heartbeat. Let's head over to Byron and see whether he's had any luck.
I haven't unfortunately. Now I've found a whole group of impala around here. Here they are, but they're all heading out to the clearing. I'm just turning my lights off so I don't shine directly in their eyes. Sorry everyone. Did you see anything? No, it doesn't look like they're willing to answer or help us out, but they're all heading out to quarantine, to the clearings above camp. I just want to check down here once more, but I think we were too late, everyone. It's very difficult for... what was that? A little scrub here. Can you see that? No, what is that, Dave? At the base of that little tree? A scrub here it is, eh? There we go. There it goes. Oh dear. Not that we don't like seeing scrub hairs. We're just looking for something a little bit bigger, with bigger teeth. Lady Lawyer says her tweet is graceful. For leopards, yeah, definitely graceful. Elusive. Has that been said yet? Michael, you did say elusive, yeah. I'm not sure. I can't think of any others names. Lou in Final Control says stealthy. That's a good one, Lou. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, whatever they saw or heard, it's disappeared. I tried to even see if I could see any tracks. Did Sebastian say popcorn? It sounds like Sebastian's one word is popcorn for the leopard. Okay. Because of probably that scent that they've got, that they give off. It smells a little bit like popcorn. Oh dear. Anyway. No. Dear, it's a bit frustrating when you get so close, but I suppose that's the way it goes sometimes. I'm not sure where this potential predator was, if it was, but if the monkeys and the impala were alarm calling, that I am almost certain is a dead set guarantee that there was a predator around here today. You never know, we could still find something popping out. There, you asked if I could make a sound of a leopard. Oh dear. Let's see. Okay. Leopard territorial call. Let's see. Maybe if I call, James might think that the leopard's close by. Good? Not good? I wonder, James. Okay, well, it's time for Jamie to give her leopard call. See you all later.
The question is, am I going to try and do the territorial call, or am I going to try and do the sound of leopards mating? Because both of them I'm equally bad at. I don't know. Should I try both? Why not? Okay, so here's my leopard territorial call. Right. I always take one. I feel like the guys have it slightly easier than the girls do when it comes to imitating leopard calls. Craig, can I request your contribution or not so much?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Craig goes, no, he's not too sure. Should you try the leopard mating one? It goes something like this. I'm sorry, that was all we could give you on International Leopard Day. We did try. Let's go over to James and for the last few minutes so he can do his call. Bye-bye.
Well, my call, you can see I'm just doing a little bit of clean-up here. I need to sit down for my call. I'm not very good at the mating call. I'm not sure that I'm very good at the territorial call either, but I'm going to give it a go. Then the mating call depends, is it coming from the female or the male? The female starts off going, and then there's a tremendous crescendo as the male bites her on the back of the head and she swings around to grab him and she says, good. Well, as the credits roll, it is time for me to say goodbye to you on this International Leopards Day. Thank you very much for joining us, for patiently scouring the bushveld with us and the tent and its environs. We will see you tomorrow, of course, at 0600. Yes, 0600. Until then, stay safe and happy, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.